And we're back. And what a better time to be a competitive Fortnite fan than this week, because we got a bunch of new updates surrounding what is happening in Chapter 6, Season 1, competitive Fortnite. I was on my way home from Stockholm and I was overwhelmed. Usually when things like this drop, I'm just like whelmed. But like I was overwhelmed by this blog post. So we're going to jump into it. Were you guys also whelmed or overwhelmed or underwhelmed? Or
I would say I was somewhere between whelmed and overwhelmed.
Oh, wow.
I was appropriately whelmed, some would say.
No, definitely overwhelmed. From what my expectations were, definitely overwhelmed.
All right, well, without being too vague, we'll start off with one of the more important parts and something that we haven't seen them addressed a bunch in Fortnite history, but it's something that they've alluded to a bit this year, and they finally gave it to us in a bit more depth, and that is competitive integrity. My oh my, do we have a bunch of conversations about competitive integrity in the community, especially of late, and Fortnite straight up addressed it. Epic Games let us know that they are putting in new measures, new plans and ideas to help combat competitive integrity and improve competitive integrity as a whole. One of the main things that they've sort of changed now is we're going to have essentially prizing is going to be put like in the deeper stages of tournaments, and you're going to have to sort of qualify through multiple things before you can actually play for prizing to essentially give themselves more checkpoints where they can like eradicate cheaters. I'm assuming that's sort of like the main idea or thought process behind that. But prizing's only going to be available really for the highest levels of competition.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense as well. And we'll get onto the schedule, when it comes up in a second. But more importantly, I think one of the ways that they're doing this in that is obviously the Divisional Cup system, which we'll also come back to. But if you look at the finals that they have, they're essentially having not a 1 day break, it's a 2 day break between any of the like Divisional Cups, like qualifiers and the Solo Cash Cup as well, and the finals. So there's an extra day to catch cheaters if need be too.
Yeah.
Really nice. I mean, it's. I don't know if it's a long-term solution, because I think for me, like, I think Victory Cups, as much as like, we'll get into obviously like the fact they've made it higher end, but making competitive or money higher for the better players is obviously great for all the high level players, for the tier 1 players, tier 2 players. It's great for them, but obviously, like a lot of the tournaments where a lot of lower level players were making their $100 is what gets people to play competitive for a longer. It can help keep people in competitive for a longer period of time. So I'm interested if this is something they're going to do as in 2026, or is this just a short-term solution so that, okay, they can catch cheaters after it's happening? Because it's still a problem that obviously cheaters are playing full tournaments, right? They're griefing so many players' tournaments. It's making people have less of an enjoyable time, right? So it's a good short-term solution, but I wonder if in 2026 or even further from that, is this the way they want to go about it, or if this is the only solution they have right now?
Yeah, there was a bunch of things there that I think led me to believe that they're going to be trying things, or at least seeing how things work and then go from there. I'll read off a bunch of the other things that they said to do with competitive integrity that are things we've actually addressed on the pod in recent times, right? The next big thing was anyone found teaming up with a cheater in a tournament will face a minimum 28-day competitive ban, which will increase with every subsequent violation. And I like the last line they put there. They said, know your teammates well to avoid penalties.
Finally. Because everyone on Twitter's like, what if I don't know my teammate's cheating? I mean, there's enough information nowadays, whether it's Kinch damage stats, whether it's like just looking at replays, it is very easy to see if people are cheating most of the time, right? So unless you're very unlucky, like I'd say 99 out of 100 times, you're going to be teaming up with a cheater if you're playing with a cheater.
Yeah. And this is something I massively put an emphasis on last year, and I did my big video that I talked about the cheaters getting to the FNtasia Global Championships in 2023. And this was honestly my main takeaway, I think, from that video was why are we not doing anything about the people who clearly sit and play with these cheaters? Why are cheaters getting banned, getting on new accounts with people play with them, sometimes getting warnings, and for the most people not getting banned at all? So, it's good to see that eventually Epic has put something in place to do this. And what's actually important about that 28-day ban is, if you read one of the next lines, which I'm gonna skip ahead to, is if players have a competitive ban of 14 days or longer, they will not be able to compete in FNCS tournaments during that season or any season that ban overlaps with. So what that means is, if you get banned in the last 27 days of any tournament, which the FNCS will probably be in that, you're banned for both seasons of
That one
FNCS.
and
Because
the
if
next
you're
one, yeah.
banned for one day of a season, you're banned for that FNCS as well. So, well, if it overlaps by one day, you're banned for it. So, yeah, that's actually massive. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
No, it's really good. They're basically doing like seasonal bans, which is obviously the best way to go about it, sort of thing, right? Because it was like, I mean, for me, right, if you're getting banned for something, most of the time you shouldn't be able to play FNCS for the year, you know, if you're getting most of the time, unless it's one of those like very small cases where there's someone who gets unfairly banned, 9 times out of 10, as I said, it's like you're getting banned for a reason, you know, and more often than not, right? So, yeah, I think it's the perfect way, and I think a lot of these, as we're talking about, a lot of these decisions they're making, a lot of are going to be great for getting rid of cheaters, right? And I think for the longevity of the game, like as we've seen later as it got into this year, the worst cheaters have become, or it feels like, because how many people are talking about it and how many people feel like they're affected by it.
Yeah. Another one that was really huge is they basically just said, we're also ramping up legal action against both players who cheat and cheat sellers. Now, they don't talk much about what this really means and how they're going about this, what's going to be, you know, happening. But the warning alone, as I've seen some people highlight, should be enough to hopefully ward off some people. And hopefully they genuinely are just taking action and fucking people over. And hopefully we start seeing like some high profile examples of people just getting absolutely owned by the Epic legal department. And then they also said we're looking into additional competitive requirements before being eligible to play in tournaments with cash prizes. And this was actually something that I remember we talked about a while ago, because I remember they made the requirements harder to play tournaments, right? And that was like one of the first times they had sort of, you know, in recent time addressed cheating. And we were all like, oh, this is great. Like they're finally doing something. And so it looks like they're trying to do more of that to make it harder for people who are on shady accounts to actually even play in tournaments at all. Which, you know,
it's good. But I want to like preface. I think everyone just thinks these things are going to make cheaters go. We're going to have now 0 cheaters in tournaments. That's probably not going to happen, and that's an unrealistic expectation. But if it's an improvement, and they say it's an improvement, Epic will try and do even more towards it, right? So it's a step in the right direction, but I know everyone on Twitter is either like one side or the other, like they're going to get rid of no cheaters doing this, or they're going to get rid of all the cheaters doing this. It's like, it's probably somewhere in the middle. They'll get rid of majority of them. They'll get rid of quite a few. And especially if they start like looking at all the cheat sellers, definitely it will affect them a lot, right? But I think right now it's a step in the right direction. I mean, you can't really complain about that.
I think
hurdles.
The biggest thing that sort of needs to be fixed, and hopefully a lot of this stuff will fix that, is just the times where we've had cheaters who are like very obvious and stuff's not really done about them for a while, you know? Like you mentioned, the extra day that gives them more time to you know, hopefully catch people. Like, okay, so let's actually catch people, right? Because I think one of the worst things that we've had, like at times this year, is when there's people who are cheating and they've just occupied the leaderboard for too long. Cheaters who are like getting paid out from cheating like consistently. Like these types of things are the things that I think really needed to be dealt with. Because at the end of the day, dealing with cheaters in totality is not possible. It's not a thing. That doesn't exist.
No.
Like that just doesn't exist. So that shouldn't be, I think, what people should be looking for. If that's what you are looking for, good luck. Go find another game where that doesn't happen. Or where that does happen. You'll be looking for a long time. But yeah, hopefully now we see significant improvement in that regard. Cheaters, bye-bye. Or some of you, bye-bye.
Yeah, some of you.
Yeah, some of you.
I think the best case scenario is that you just put as many hurdles in place as possible. Because if it's, you know, if someone, say for example, they can just download a cheat and play it and not get banned, which obviously is not the case. But if you can do that, that just incentivizes people to do it, especially if they can make a bit of money.
Yeah.
If you have to buy DMA and a second PC and go to like a second cheat seller, okay, now there's an extra level there. If you also have to buy an account every time to get over the account requirement, you have to, and you know, try and make sure you play with other cheaters who are also new accounts, because your real friends or pros will get banned on their accounts, and then they won't be able to, you know, just as many hurdles as possible will just make people go, oh, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
And there will be a few people who will still manage because, of course, you know, the prize pools are looking juicy. So, you know, they'll find ways, I'm sure. But just the number overall hopefully should reduce somewhat.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's just good. They know it's a problem. that's the main thing, which is good. Like they know it's a problem and they know they need to make steps in the right direction. So we'll see how it affects. We'll see by the first tournaments, but yeah.
Absolutely. Then they sort of let us know more information about divisional cups. I know we had a conversation about, what the divisional cups would actually look like in terms of how many people are going to be qualifying, where and when. They essentially just let us know, like, after that initial FNTS trial, how many people are going to be going into Div 1, Div 2, Div 3, and then the sort of general progression there. Unless maybe I just knew this from a leak. I think we sort of already knew this. We just didn't know the exact numbers, right? From the
we didn't know the numbers.
And top, yeah. We had this graphic more or less, just with less info.
Basically, yeah. We knew most of it, but I think the interesting number for me is it's the amount of players that go into Div 1, right? It's top 200 in the first placement cup, which is, when you look at the overall numbers, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 300 total, because it's 20 each week from Div 2 go to Div 1. So 300 total by the time it gets to, I can't remember what the stage is called, but the basically the 2-day stage. The major stage, when you get to the major stage, right? So that puts a massive emphasis on this placement cup, right? Because we didn't know whether it was going to be placement cup matters, but like your majority of players are going to qualify through divisional cups, or like we have here, the placement cup is 2/3 of the lobby. That's 2/3 of the overall players that are going to be in the major stage, right? So with only 5 days until the placement cup, it puts in a huge impact on how players set up with their trios, their landing spots, everything. It's like, there's going to be a lot of stress for a lot of players, because even though, yes, if you're a top level player and you're in Division 2, getting top 20 out of 600 teams shouldn't be that hard. But if you start to struggle and weeks go by, it can become really problematic. And I wouldn't want to be in Division 2 going into the last week. I wouldn't want to be in that situation, right? So
that's going to be us, mate. So
yeah, that will be us. We'll be in Div 1 already after the placement cup. Don't worry. But no, I'm excited to see. I think it's I think the actual split of players is really exciting, because like Division 2 is going to be stacked as well, because 600 teams means you're going to be playing like the equivalent of like a semi-finals format, like the old semis we used to have, right? I think overall this is I think they've got the numbers pretty much bang on, in my opinion.
Bang on what we said, because I think it was what you said last week when we talked about this, where you were like, okay, we need 300 teams overall, and you'll probably, I think you said like there'll be around 200 from this, and then 20 per. I think we pretty much spot on managed to figure out the exact amount of teams, and it does feel right. Like when I look at that and I go, Division 2 is 600 teams to start with. I'm like, okay, if I'm in Division 2, I'm thinking, what are the quality of those lobbies? Like everyone's trying to get into Division 1, trying to get into top 20. Those games are going to be stacked, and if you're in, you've removed the top 200 best teams. So, like, are you really going to have some GOAT WK in every single game? Maybe not. Maybe, obviously, some people might just be in a lower div for whatever reason. But for the most part, like, the quality of those games should be good. Same with Division 3. Like, there will be more WKing because it's just open. But for the most part, those are going to be high-quality games in the higher ELOs, because you're going to try to get to top 100 or whatever it was to get into Div 2 as well.
Yeah, and they're very placement heavy.
Yeah.
So, you're not even rewarded as much for WQing.
Is there no Elim points in Div 3? I can't remember if that was true or not.
I think it's 1.
Yeah.
Elim.
Really
low.
None,
that's crazy. Let me look at that real quick. I'll try.
I don't think it's none. I think it's 1.
I remember hearing something about that might happen. So that would have been cool. But this format is awesome. Rather than playing your cash cups, you get to play this. And I think there's 2 very important notes that I want to add on here. Firstly, I tweeted about this. The FNCS trial is region locked. Do not play the FNCS trial, aka the placement cup, on another region. Because say if you wake up in the morning and you're like, I might just play some Asia, it's a cash cup. No, then whatever division you get in there, every other region you're on Division 3 automatically. Yeah. So you can play the divisional cups on whatever region you want, but you can only play one FNCS trial. So play FNCS trial on your region. Second point is that you notice it says day 1 plus day 2. The leaderboards are an accumulation of 2 different tournaments. So you'll play not like day 1, so which is Wednesday, and then day 2, and that'll get added up together. So there's actually technically like 2 trio cash cups, which this essentially is, every single week, which is incredible. So lots to practice, lots to play.
No, I think it's very interesting. I wonder how the Div 3 leaderboard's going to look day 1 and day 2 merged together of like 10,000 trios or whatever. It's going to be insane how many, or even more, way more for like EU. But that'll be very interesting to see like what kind of match histories qualify you in those. But no, when it comes to the higher level competition, this chapter, I mean, could we have really asked for more when it comes to at least trios, and we'll get on to solos as well and other tournaments going forward. But I mean, 2-day format into a finals. I think one thing we talked about for a long period of time is cash cuts meant nothing. It would be different teams each week, as we talked about already. Cheaters would be involved as well, and it's like it got to a point. I remember in chapter 2, we'd all be like, "Oh, let's watch the cash cup. Let's see who won the cash cup." I mean, I haven't really cared about a cash cup for so long nowadays. It doesn't. Now this feels exciting. You're going to get storylines, the same teams contesting each other, the same teams landing near each other every single week, because it's the same 200 teams and then 220, 240. You're going to get similar teams qualifying. It's going to be very, very exciting to watch.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't, without glazing too much, I don't know if we can say, I know we know who's behind this, but W to that person at Epic.
Yeah.
W the GOAT. That's what we're going to say.
I'm not going to say their name, but W the GOAT at Epic that made this happen. Yeah. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you.
I don't know if the GOAT watches the podcast, though.
I don't think he probably doesn't.
He probably doesn't.
I hope he doesn't.
clip this part and send it to him. Send him nothing else.
We'll see, man. Yeah. We'll see if we get a random DM.
Oh, God. They then also let us know that there's going to be rank cups taking place at the same time for the people who somehow aren't in gold. For bronze and silver players, there'll be rank ups for you. Shares. Then they let us know the Chapter 6 Season 1 regular tournament offering. So we sort of have a weekly schedule, which is actually nice to know.
Yep.
As somebody who tries to schedule things throughout the week around these tournaments, it's good to sort of have an idea in advance. We're going to have no regular tournaments on Monday. I'm guessing that will be the day they use for anything that needs to be pushed back because of some sort of technical issue.
Yep.
Then there will be evals on Tuesday, which has been the same for a while. They won the divisional cups on Wednesday. Thursday will be day 2 of divisional cups. Friday, solo BR Cash Cup, which is a new Cash Cup, which we'll get onto. And then Saturday, solo BR Ranked Cup and Divisional 1 Cup Final. And then Sunday, OG Cups. OG Cups are back. We talked about that last week. And then Duo BR Ranked Cups and Solo Cash Cup Final on the Sunday as well. So, jam-packed week of Fortnite for the most part. Monday's the only sort of real free day. When would be the best time for us to do FNtasia? Do we need to move our pod now because of this?
Tuesdays, probably. That's the day we're meant to do it.
Yeah.
That's the main one.
We never do it on Tuesdays, but
no, we never do, meant to do
it.
Well, we usually do it on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So,
Monday?
We're
Monday.
fine.
I mean, we are fine. This is the same as we already have now in OG season. This is
I'm just thinking of when the EP comes out. So the EP would come out on the Wednesday, and then that's the new week of divisional cups, right?
Yeah.
So
that's perfect,
maybe, or do we maybe want to give people an extra day? Do we maybe do it on the Tuesday? Do we maybe
we'll figure this out off the podcast. We'll figure this out off the podcast.
Upload the podcast.
What is the best time for you guys to listen to this podcast every week? Please let us know in the comments.
And donate.
We'll
going to get to that bit. Performance evals. I was going to go through the summary. I guess we don't really need to go through the summary of each tournament. The only important one, I guess, would be Solo BR Cash Cups. Solo Victory Cups are no more. Solo Victory Cups are now gone. Instead, we have, regular Solo BR Cash Cups. In Solo BR Cash Cups, players compete in hopes of scoring within the top 600 players. Those players will move on to round 2, where they'll have the opportunity to compete for cash prizes.
I've got maybe a hot take.
It's going to be Luke ice cold, isn't it?
I think we need victory cups. I actually think that not having victory cups will be bad, from my opinion. So I love stack solos. Don't get me wrong. I'm a huge fan of stack solos, and the fact we're getting stack solos every single week, massive fan. Don't get me wrong. But for the wider audience of players, I do think the trio situation, obviously having the divisional cups is definitely going to be beneficial. But I do think having solo victory cups, fuck zero build, who cares about that? But solo victory cups in particular, I think were beneficial for the amount of players who were either making their first earnings or felt like they could earn or could qualify to finals. The amount of players who were just playing in these tournaments, I feel like was a huge thing for them. And look, I'm gonna love watching these solos. These solo finals, 8K for first place in EU. I mean, it's gonna be sick to watch. Like that's gonna be better than most people's grand finals placement, right? You're gonna maybe win a solo cash cup and then get like a top 10 the other, and that's most of your money for the season for some players, right? But
yeah,
I do think having some form of victory cup format is like we've gone from the one end of the spectrum to the other, where we've gone from okay, we've got all of the all the victory cup formats. Every single tournament feels like a victory cup format to only evals victory cup format, right? So I do think maybe having something like that for maybe lesser players, but I know it's a lot of money and I know the cheater situation and everything like that. So hopefully long term, I think having something like that would be good. But yeah, from a higher standpoint of like competitive, yeah, the solo cash cups are obviously nice to have.
I agree. That's not a hot take at all.
Yeah.
I think
Like
it's a
I
hot
said,
take if you speak to tier ones. If you speak to
yeah.
tier ones,
Tier ones should
bath
never be
water,
the
10
good
minutes.
reflection.
No, I think. So I agree. And this is kind of the point where a lot of the comments and a lot of the responses I've read to this are kind of similar to what you said, where people have said Fortnite competitive is now only for the tier ones, and I'm like, well, probably for most people who are saying that, it probably wasn't for you anyway, in terms of like earning in solo cash cup, but that the delusion of a victory cup made people believe. And obviously there was winners every week that were not going to be able to place in the top 25 or something like that. But for the most part, like our consistent earners were people who would still be able to earn in this format too. I look at it and I would like to see what player numbers are like by the end of the year to actually see if the theory makes sense. Because I agree, like the idea of solos getting you like $100 earnings, I'm sure is really, I know it's attractive to a lot of people, right? And it does lure people in. But at the same time, like I want to know if the idea of like even bigger prize pools, big juicy prize pool for like a smaller number is also not attractive, right? Like people will now be like, okay, what if I can grind and get a top 25 or get a top 10? I'm earning 1K rather than, getting 10 victory cup wins. And I think it might be easier to get a top. Is it easier to get a top 20 in one of these than winning 10 solo cash cup games?
Is it top 20? Let me look at the prize pool exactly.
It's something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is, but like.
Okay, so the prize pool.
What's 1K?
So 1K is 1.2K or 1.3K is 10.
Yeah,
and then 15
is it easier to come top 10 in this once? So you've got a year
once in a whole year,
whole year, or win 10 solo victory cup games.
Or 13, actually. That's
13 solo victory cup games, yeah.
I think a lot of people would say 13 solo victory cup games.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people would be wrong because Hint dropped like stats on all the all-time wins. And there are only, if I scroll down to when someone has 13 wins, right?
Mm.
According to Kinch, there are only, it just refreshed. There are only 493 people all time who have won for 14 solo. So to have
way
14,
more than I thought, not gonna lie.
But still, that's not like a lot. Like in comparison to so my thing with what you're saying, Reese, my thing for that, I think that's more even like zero build. I feel like the people who'd be making that complaint of like, oh, I feel like I can win now. Now I don't feel like I can win any money. You weren't winning money in build solo cash cups, I feel like. All those types of people aren't winning money commonly or if not at all. But I feel like they're more likely to in zero build solos because that always felt like a bit more of like a free cash situation.
Yeah.
But like for builds, I don't know. I feel like it's probably easier for you to get a top 10 in one of these cash cups.
I mean,
maybe
I don't think
well, actually, no, I do. I do, because this is all regions as well.
No, that's not the prize pool for all regions.
No. I'm saying, well, true, but like, but within this, like that 500 number I gave, that's not all EU players.
No, I know.
That's like all regions. So it's like, if you were just doing EU, it'd be way less. It might just be like 150, 200 or 150. Yeah, like 150, 250. So like, I think you're right, Reese. I think it's probably easy for those 100 and for the people below to get one top 10
juicy solo cash cup.
Yeah, like versus
if you're an up and comer, like you can do it in either. I mean, again, I think I don't think the idea to remove victory cups is the right play. I agree with you on that. Where I feel like they probably should have had both. I'll be real. Instead of something, I don't know, maybe they use performance. I don't know what.
I mean, we do a monthly big solo cash cup. I don't think that's a problem.
and you use the Solo Victory Cup for something else. But I think the idea that like Solo Victory Cup just attracts cheaters and this format of Victory Cup just attracts the cheaters, I think this is just a step away from that. So maybe again, like in the future, we see like some sort of combination between these two. I think the monthly thing is a really good idea. Me personally, you know, in a completely biased way, I'm so goddamn glad that Victory Cups are gone. They are the most boring 2 hours to play possible, and then finals is 1 hour of just like hope I get a good off spawn, and coming from someone who's not going to win a game, right? It's like if I get a good off spawn, then there's a chance, you know, if I get some good RNG there, and the play style is really boring in my eyes to like practice to improve for, because it's so different from how you'd actually play any other tournament. Like, you know, when I'm thinking about playing a Solo Cash Cup, for the most part, I'm like, okay, let's figure out how I can get my best opens placement, because that's like more realistic to how I actually play tournaments. Whereas like in finals, it's like the way to win a game. Maybe this season was slightly different because it wasn't as heal off dependent, but it was just like, okay, I'm trying to take one shotgun, as many heals as possible, and things. I'm like, this is just not what I would do in any other game mode. So happy to see the game mode change, and now there's actually going to be some interesting analysis on how to play well in solos and finals, because like Solo Victory Cup, when we squeezed the juice out of what you can learn how to win a game, you know, it was what it is.
I was literally going to say to that, shout out to Destiny Jesus, mate. He's going to be loving life right now, mate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think as someone who was a FIFA player, I remember when they used to have like the monthly rewards for Weekend League, and I feel like you could do something similar in Fortnite, but just have like victory cups that you have weekly, and then a monthly big solo cup that's like important and has money. And if you can link the two, then even better. Yeah, that's like the main thing. Again, we have OG cups, which will be cool because we know OG's coming back. It's going to have the same loot pool, so don't expect these to be uber competitive, but expect them to be fun nostalgia tournaments that you get to play.
No prizing.
No prizing for those, but double pumps are back, so go crazy. And then we have the PlayStation Cup, which is coming back as well. On December 6th and 8th, the PlayStation Solo Cup will return, where players can compete for a share of 250,000 skrill.
What
are they cooking?
A lot of money. A lot of money.
It's like, you know what the crazy part about this is that the distribution of this makes absolutely no sense. It's like top 100 to 51st. So if you make it to finals in the set lobby and you do awful, you get $750. Like, that is like Winter Royale level cash for the PlayStation players. I had it in my basket. I had the PS5 in the basket, and I was like, mate, is this the investment? Is a business expense if not, and we get earnings if it is? Yeah, but I didn't click purchase. But if you're a controller player, especially if you got a PS5, get that hooked up. Get that right way hertz up. If you're a keyboard and mouse player, you can still play, but it's like,
do you want my PlayStation? And we split the earnings, because I don't use mine.
Have you got a PS5?
I got a PS5. I can give it to you, and then we split the earnings.
Yeah, fuck it. I'll play that. I'll play it.
Give me a percent. Give me 10% of the earnings.
Right, 10% of nothing. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, hook me up.
I think it's quite funny. Obviously, it's unfair to compare because obviously one is a Sony-based tournament and one is, you know, Epic's own prize pooling. But I will have to say it. The fact if you make a PlayStation Cup Finals, you are guaranteed $750, and if you make EU Grands, you are not guaranteed money, is insane. Like, that is actually ridiculous. It is a one-day tournament to qualify top 100 to make a finals, or 2 months of hard work and dedication for 8 teams, 24 players to not make money.
Well,
I mean,
I'm going to say nice things about Sony, because hopefully they ask me to commentate this PlayStation Cup.
Oh, yeah.
I have nothing against the PlayStation Cup prize pool. It's a good
the PlayStation Cup prize pool, respect to them.
Let's not let the Grand Finals prize pool. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I can say whatever I want about Grand Finals. Nobody listens to this shit, so, you know, fucking, Grands.
Let's just say the last 3 games of Grands, there'll be some fun games to watch. There will definitely be. If you're bottom of the leaderboard on 0 points,
it's gonna get. Look, on the PlayStation Cup though.
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting to see, because I think the last sort of iterations we've had of it were it was getting to the point where people are like, "What are we really doing here?" You know, what's really the idea here? So it's good to see them sort of renew some faith in that and take it back in a different direction. But yeah. I'll be interested.
And they got rid of
they
used to do like zero build as well.
They
did zero build and a bunch of, that was what I was referring to when I was saying what we're doing there, because it was like the zero build solos, and they were always just the most insane tournament commentary.
I tell you what, I am so sad that we're missing out that. We say cash cups are boring to watch. I'm never going to watch a solo finals. Bro, every PlayStation finals, I'm locked in because that is the funniest tournament of all time. It's like the most obvious teaming, the most obvious, like, horrific play styles. Like, so good. So good.
I mean, there's nothing better than watching Levin try to keep a straight face commentating the Zero Build final. Watching the camping building and watching end games of people camping behind trees.
The worst thing is, like, I'll be commentating it and I'll have Boop's chat up, and it's like his chat will be cracking me up while I'm commentating because they're like, Levin's hyping this shit up again. I'm like, what do you guys want me to do, bro? I gotta try, bro.
There's one clip where I'm gonna scroll as we're here through my Twitter, and
I know
it's probably not gonna be. It's probably not gonna be in this podcast. But there was one clip from a solo PlayStation Cup Zero Build Finals that actually might be the worst fight I've ever seen in my life. And Levin trying to commentate it is one of the funnious things I've ever seen.
Was it?
Genuinely,
was it with the Captain America shield, or was it?
It was with a Captain America shield. Yeah,
I think I remember that one as well.
They're both just sat there holding the Captain America.
Oh my god, it was so bad.
The one I remember the most was the one where we had the riot shields. And so it was literally just everybody on the edge of the zones, just with their riot shields, just like moving left and right, just like fucking. Oh man, good time.
Bring back Zero Cups. What we're saying, just bring it back for our enjoyment.
Might as well. They then answered some FNCS frequently asked questions. Was there anything interesting in this that we should say here? Where will the NA competitive servers be? A lot of people had questions about that. NA Central servers will remain in Dallas, and NA West will be in Northern California. So they let us know there.
Is that was that where West was before?
I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you, mate. I always took West as a bit of a joke, mate. So I just didn't really pay attention to their servers. But let us know in the comments if you're a West player or a former West player. Are these the same servers you guys had before? Who knows? But yeah, I think that was really everything from the blog post we need to cover.
Last thing we didn't say about was obviously, like, we kind of brushed on it, but 300 teams. If you're from Europe, 300 teams go from Div 3 to Div 2. So if you are like one of the lower level players, that's why you're looking to get us top 300 over the 2 days. But yeah, overall, what are you guys feeling? Positive? Very, very positive about it? Or
W blog post, man.
W. Maybe a 9 out of 10. I feel like that's fair.
Yeah, I was about to say probably a 9 out of 10. I mean, would be a 10 out of 10 if we had some of the PlayStation Cup money, but apart from that, I think it's I think it's they kind of answered all the questions, and I think the one thing they showed it, I think that's a lot of questions.
They answered some good. They definitely didn't answer all the questions. Like,
they answered.
There's a lot more things I feel like we need to know about next year that they haven't told us yet.
True. But I think when you can tell how well a blog post went is you could just see the comments under either the competitive tweet or under like Hogman's tweets. They're all positive. Like, all the players are saying you've cooked with this, W's. Like,
I agree.
Everyone's happy.
Yeah. Shout out to the comp team and the people that are trying their best to make competitive Fortnite enjoyable for all of us nerds, because it's definitely better than it's an exciting time. I say at the start of every Fortnite FNtasia episode, but like, I mean it, it's an exciting time to be a competitive fan. With that being said, I want to quickly ask you guys, is there anything you guys are wishing for in Chapter 6? We've got a bunch of new information about what the chapter's going to actually look like. We got some leaks even showcasing some of the new season stuff. They showed us like Godzilla and some shit. Shit's getting crazy. I don't know what we got going on. But is there anything in particular that you guys would want, wish list style, that we don't already have?
I don't have items and think, it's this actual picture. Yeah, that looks sick,
look
right?
At that.
Obviously, like Japan themed again, or I'm imagining that looks sick. I don't have things that I want specifically. I have things I don't want, which is more important.
Okay.
Do not give me a medallion. Do not give me a fucking gatekeeper. That's it. Keep those two things out, and I'm happy.
So right, I'm gonna go with again. Do not. Well, it's a kind of do or do not, but I just want high risk reward mobility. That's all I want. Like a flow brief is. If you use it at the wrong time, you're getting beamed. If you use a launch pad at the wrong time, you're getting beamed. If you use bounce at the wrong time or crash pads, you're getting beamed. We need risk reward. I don't need as much as I felt like I was prime fucking no Rayleigh Taysom with the hammer, with the fist, or with the hammer, or with the rocket ram. We don't need those. We do not need any of those in the game because there is no risk when using them. You just get from point A to point B by clicking one button and destroy all the builds when you land. So
wait until you find out about the Godzilla mobility, where you press the button and you turn 10 times the size and you just run over the lobby like Ant-Man.
Yeah, Godzilla is the mech. Like you jump into Godzilla and you control him and you just stomp about.
Yeah, that's all I want. Just nice, fun mobility. Like that's it. Fun mobility which doesn't seem bullshit to play against.
My one is a bit vaguer than both of you guys. It's a bit vague and a bit more wide scoped. With seemingly them like binning off a lot of the like zero build and reload stuff. In Chapter 6 at some point, I would like to see them make another competitive game mode. Like a specific game mode that they make that is for competitive or is made with the intention of there being competitive tournaments and stuff ran on it. This year we spoke about a lot on the pod, and even though it was a bit up and down, like all the ESL stuff that happened, I thought was like cool to have. I know pros enjoyed it. Viewing experience wise, it was quite rough. It got better by the time like the Saudi event came around. But I think it showed, if anything, how important it is to have like another cool competitive offering that's not necessarily directly BR. And I'd love to see Epic try and make something. Well, they have tried with, zero build and reload. But I felt like those weren't made with the intention of competitive. Whereas I'd love them to do something that's like, hey, we want to make a competitive Fortnite-based game mode. So yeah. I'd love to see
PlayStation Zero build. Get it back.
No, please, no.
No, mobile reload.
No. But that's my like. That'd probably be one of the things I want to see the most come Chapter 6. That would obviously be later on, not Season 1. Let us know in the comment section down below. What do you want to see in Chapter 6? It can be big or small. Let us know what you want. It could be competitive or non-competitive related. We're just competitive nerds, so we always talk about that. I'd love to see fucking give us Travis Scott back. That's my
Chapter 6 wish list. It's my skin.
Yeah, give us we have another event coming to end Remix, which is coming soon. But forget the event. Just give us. Well, actually, no, give us the event as well. But then also give us Travis Scott later on in the chapter, because we all want that back.
The event leak, by the way, is literally just, rather than the Travis Scott event, it's just Godzilla replacing him. That's it. He just stings all the Travis Scott songs still, though.
Yeah.
that would be fire, though.
Yeah, I'd be down.
That would be the exact same thing.
Yeah. I would watch that event multiple times.
I miss events when they were storyline based, not just we're watching a concert again.
I mean, yeah, like I like a mix. Like the Travis Scott thing wasn't storyline based, but it was fire.
It wasn't. It was just a mid-season thing. It was just halfway through the season. It's a concert.
I mean, yeah, but it was fire. Yeah. Like I just want things that are fire. And I get maybe wanting an end of season event to be storyline based, but the intro to Remix wasn't storyline based, so it's like I don't really, If
how does Ice Spice fit the Fortnite lore though?
Ice Spice and Visitor saving the island. That's what we need.
I mean, yeah. I don't mind getting some cool storyline shit, but I've also just not followed the storyline for a long time, so it's not for me,
The storyline of this game disappeared when The Rock became a main character. I think we just gotta fucking move on at that point.
That was good.
Yeah.
I think we all just got it.
That's what we need.
Shout out to The Rock, man.
If you watch any, sometimes randomly I'll try to get clips for something from a season, and I'll just stumble upon like a random storyline video from like Chapter 3, Chapter 4.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that meme where like, this writing is fire. It's just the opposite of that.
Yeah.
It's just not. You're working with nothing here, guys.
That's why Donny Mustard left, eh?
No.
All right. Let's. I got a top 5 game for us this week. I got a top 5 game for us. We last week we played a new game that Harry cooked up, and it was so much fun, and all of you enjoyed it so much that we decided to purposely not give it to you. We're gonna try to get you addicted to it like it's a drug. So this week we're gonna do the top 5 game, and maybe if you stick around next week, you know, that game will be back. But this week's top 5 is an interesting one, and I kind of already alluded to it, so hopefully you guys started thinking about it already.
I did.
Which NA players? I'm testing your NA knowledge.
Oh, that's right.
I specifically,
I'm just closing this.
I'm just gonna say, I was actually originally gonna do this as an EU question. Then I saw who was on the panel today, and I was like, it's Reese and Harry. I'm doing NA just to fuck them up.
Okay, this is gonna be rough.
Which NA players have the most solo victory cup wins of all time?
Okay.
Pause the video here. Put your answers in the comment section below and play along at home. No cheating though, of course. And let us know which 5 players have the most solo victory cup wins of all time.
I'm just thinking random, just like who actually won games? Who wins games?
Who do I watch in solo cash cups?
There was an NA player. Like this doesn't count, but there was an NA player who won twice for the EU this week. It was this week.
Jiven won a game on this week.
Yeah.
The guy won 2 on the EU, but I can't remember his name.
When I was scrolling, I saw. I think Jiven's won like 17 games in total, which is pretty.
That might be up there, to be honest. So I might need to add him to the list.
I think if he has 17, that puts him in like the top 300 or something. So
I think it's like top 3. I was about to add Jiven to the list.
No.
I've only got 2. This is actually wraps. This region's
dog
shit.
I know the top 2. I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, that's the same. I think if this isn't the top 2, then I just don't know at this point.
If you can get any more, if you can get another one, that would maybe give you the win. Just give you the edge. I can't
even think of players. Like who's on this?
Who is NA?
That was you. But you guys also remember we scored this based also on time taken. So if you both have 2, I would just put in the other answers and then just.
But I can't even think of 3 other NA players. I just can't even think of 3 other. Like who's not that rich?
Reese might just win because he submitted first. This is terrible tactics.
Hold on. I've got 2 more. Let me. I'm locking.
We gotta put some pressure on you. You gotta get your answers in.
I have 2 I know are right because I VOD them all the time.
Okay.
I have 1 I'm almost certain is in the top 5, and there's 2 just fucking shots in the dark that are not going to be right. This is
definitely not, and I mean, I'll add this.
Did you submit it?
I'm at this
Harry, I'm gonna have to deduct a point from you.
No, answers. These are the worst answers of all time. I apologize to anyone who believed in me. This is the worst answers.
That's no one anyway. Don't worry.
No one ever. These are the worst answers ever. Right,
Harry. You know you're the all-time leader in top 5 games, so you have a reputation. I know. You got
this is a fumble. Why don't you do EU? I would have been there.
I was going to do EU. And if I'm being honest, I think EU would have been harder. But we'll get to the answers. Reese, what is your top 5 this week?
Hit me with it. Number 1, Muzz. Easy. Number 2 is Pump. 100%. And on those 2. I know Bolts is up there because I fucking VOD with his games all the time. I don't know if he'll be 3rd or whatnot. And then I've got Peterbot and Booga. I just put NA players. That was it. I just slapped them on. I was like, surely Peterbot has won some solo games, right?
Right.
I think like somehow my number 5 is worse than your number 5, but I just put him in because why not? Let's just see.
Okay, let's see. Harry, what was your top 5 this week?
Alright, so we got Muzz in number 1, number 2, Peterbot. Then I just had to think of 3 players, and I was like, Poyo, I know you may have won a couple. I can't believe I got pumped by them bolts. And then Fortnite and Asian Jeff, I didn't even think
Asian Jeff. Bro's NA knowledge is absolutely
good. No. Asian Jeff.
Bolts. I can't believe I forgot Bolts. Pump I wouldn't have got, but I've seen him up there so many times.
Yeah.
Bolts, I should have got Bolts.
You've had an absolute mare here, Harry. I'll just be honest. All right, let's look at the answers. Let's reveal the...
Is Asian Jeff there? Like, you're laughing, but you might be there.
I'll be very shocked.
Oh my god. Okay.
I'm getting the list. I want to see how many wins Asian Jeff has got. This
is the solo World Cup. Then you'd be right.
Yeah. If it was solo World Cup, you'd be the winner of this thing. All right. Let's take a look at the top 5. This week's top 5. Which NA players have the most solo victory cup wins of all time? In number 5 was Bolts. Reese getting the correct answer there on the board. Not in 3rd, but in number 5, Bolts.
Who's above
Let me check. Bolts had 43 wins in solo victory cups altogether.
Is that lifetime?
That's all
Yeah, all
time,
lifetime.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All the solo victory cups ever played. In number 4 was a surprise, a player who I wasn't too very familiar with, Noisy. Noisy has 44 solo victory cup wins. Yeah, it was a shocker to me as well. In number 3 was Iomzo.
Yeah.
Iomzo's a sneaky one because I feel like you can very easily forget, but he plays everything. He wins a lot of things as well, so that does make sense to me. Iomzo also had 44 wins, just like Noisy. In number 2, a correct answer for Reese. Pump. Pump has the second most wins amongst NA players, also the second most of any players on any region. 52 wins in solo victory cups for Pump. And in number 1, the man from OCE, claimed by America, Muzz. Muzz has the most solo victory cup wins in NA and of all time with 58 wins in solo victory cups.
3 out of 5 on NA.
That's really good for Reese.
And how am I meant to guess Noisy?
Right.
No, come on.
So,
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know.
No,
I was just looking up the other answers because I was interested. So out of mine, Kanard had 9 wins. Asian Jeff had 14. So Asian Jeff wasn't even the worst answer.
Wow.
He wasn't even the worst answer. And then Peterbot, let me see Peterbot. Peterbot is 30 wins.
That's pretty close. That would be pretty close.
And then you had Booger and Peterbot, right? With your other
I just put Booger, yeah.
Booger was 17 wins. So
I didn't actually would have thought Booger had less.
I thought he wouldn't care. I just thought he wouldn't play.
I didn't think Booger played solo victory cups.
Yeah. 11, you're just putting in a bit of Booger hate for this week's episode. I see.
No Booger hate.
Weekly Booger hate. I see.
No. I just thought he was like, I'm just too rich to play this shit.
17 wins. That's a lot for a guy like Booger. That's crazy. For 11. That sounds crazy hate.
I think Peterbot's 30 puts him at like 35th. Yeah, 35th with 30 wins. So lots of people have lots of wins, eh?
Okay, wait. So for EU,
for EU, guess the top 2. If you can get the top 2.
Booker,
Jake Booker, Malabuka.
Yeah, I was going to say Malabuka, but you've just looked.
I knew Jake Booker, Malabuka. I couldn't know
I think, yeah. I don't get a lock in Malabuka second, but it was something like that, yeah.
I think EU, it was like Jake Booker, Malabuka, Marius, Pixie, and Jew is like the top 5. I
would not. I maybe would have got Marius, but I wouldn't have
got that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I got top 2 again.
I could have seen you guys maybe getting 3 on that as well. Either way, yeah. Let us know how you did in the comment section below.
I would have at least got 3, not like this fucking Mickey region. I was actually no. I just looked at EU. So EU, it would have been Malabuka, Jake Booker, Focus, and then Fishy X, and then Maris and Pixie are tied. Fishy X is the guy who's Czech. He's a Czech. Yeah, he's a Czech guy. He's got 36 wins.
Holy shit!
Go. Might have to jump in the bonds.
Yeah.
These are the players that are going to be getting top 10s and fucking, you know, all the new solo cash cups that we're going to be like, oh my god, he's next up.
Yeah.
Noisy and Fishy X are up next.
Yeah.
Shout out to Noisy and Fishy X.
As we're doing the podcast, I was going to say, as we're doing the podcast, we got a new leak.
Let's look at it. What's the new leak?
Ooh. First time. Let me zoom in.
Yeah. I'm zooming in.
I'm landing that turtle POI, whatever that is, on the left. Give me that.
That looks like
that fire.
Oh my god, what the hell? I didn't even see that.
Yeah,
it looks like Mega City in the back left.
Yeah, it looks like a Mega City vibe.
It looks like we're getting like Kenjutsu Mega City vibes again.
Yeah. Oh, Godzilla doesn't look
Godzilla in the back. Yeah.
Lasering everything.
He's a mid-game objective. That's it. You know, you gotta claim...
He's the island.
Claim Godzilla's island.
You think that bridge behind him is going to give metal or nah? It's going to be full brick in it.
It's going to be full brick, yeah.
It's going to
be unbreakable unless you're Godzilla.
What is that AR? The skin on the right? Hold. That looks
sick.
Cool.
It
looks sick.
What the hell is on the back of the middle guy?
Hey, don't disrespect a pet.
He's got a wee goblin on him,
yeah,
little pink thing.
Pet goblin. Does anyone wear back blings anymore? Sort of like the casual fans going, of course we do. The best skins are back blings.
I think like the Rift Butterfly, like some pros wear I've seen, but like that's about it.
Maybe,
yeah.
People, hold on the left, people are gliding.
Yeah, on the new gliders, we can.
Yeah.
And then bottom right, we got someone surge tagging already. Look at those sweats, just getting their surge tags in. Bottom right.
Yeah.
Trying to see what gun he has.
That's a good spot.
He's got a gun.
Spot.
What is this like portal they're standing on though?
I mean,
I'm down for two maps within one game. I'm here for it. That's what. Yeah. You teleport to a second map halfway through the game.
the first thing I know from this is day one a new season. As much as I'm gonna want to run around and grind up my ranked or whatever, I think first things first, you got to load up max settings and just enjoy the map. Because this looks like it's gonna be beautiful. Like.
I'm going to play one game, die off spawn, and then go in replay mode in max settings. That's it. Yeah, I think that's the... It looks gorgeous. I love this style, I must say that. It actually looks so good. Style.
Get me in custom game. Day one custom game, going through all the POIs. Like, this actually...
Wait, what's that thing in front of the... I guess it's just a statue. But you know, like the big thing holding up like the sword type thing on the right.
Oh, yeah, of the temple. Yeah, it's probably just a massive statue, but it looks pretty sick.
It better be a statue.
If it's not a statue, I'm gonna.
No, it's another skin. It's a skin. That's my type of skin. Get me in that.
That is actually the Harry skin right there. If it is a skin.
Unheadshotable.
Yeah, no, I like it. I'm excited.
No, I'm looking forward to seeing it.
It's a shame everyone's going to be playing OG instead of this.
Won't catch me on OG.
No. You won't catch me on OG either. Yeah. All right then. Let's get into some super thanks. We got super thankers this week, many super thankers, a bunch of super thankers, and I think we have to start off by addressing something with the super thankers. We love you, super thankers. You're the best. You're our best viewers. I hate to say it for the other viewers listening who are like, what?
Measurably.
What about me? You are very, very measurably our best viewers. Yeah.
The only way we value people is how much money they have directly given us. Therefore, these are measurably our best viewers right here.
And I think that's a reasonable way to go about it. I will say, though, some of our super thankers are professors in writing, and they like to write long messages.
Look, I'll just say, you're just saying too much shit. Like, we get you up for a little bit, right? We don't need 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Get your point out, and then get on to the next week. We don't need, the actual 16 paragraphs.
No, but you know what it is, though? So AV Aesthetics, shout out to AV Aesthetics as well for the super thanks this week. But it's because he's, like, responding to the things we said last week. So he's like, first response... Shout out to
he's responding to the allegations, essentially.
Yeah, he is responding to a lot. But on what you had to say, for the most part, yes, we have female viewers. No, it's not because of AV Aesthetics. But I did like one of the things he said here at the start. He is just trying to inspire viewers to get in the gym. I love that. We need that. Get healthy. Get in the gym. That is my inspiration. I need to hit the gym. And then what else did he say? He talked about how he wanted to address the potential for Champions League S-LAN this year. It would be fantastic for smaller regions. However, I think they could increase the number of people who qualify into a larger pool. Let's say, for the math's sake, make it 132 teams and a certain fraction comes from all regions. They make 4 groups that do not necessarily have to be broadcast, but replays can be used to keep costs down. In this round, they do 3 matches total. This is the final LAN. Basically, he likes our idea of doing a LAN, but he wants it to be bigger.
Yeah. I mean, I think the main thing we talked about, like, last week, and I definitely feel a lot, is, like, especially for minor regions, I do just want to see more have the opportunity, not to qualify to the main LAN, but qualify to maybe a next stage, qualify to the LAN or anything like that. So, but the problem is, when we did this last time with lower and upper bracket, no one liked it. So now it's like, now we got rid of it, everyone wants it back. So...
No, people liked it. People just didn't like that it came at the cost of a 12 game finals.
I guess, yeah. If you could, I think the perfect format would be a 2 week thing, a 2 weekend thing, a 1 weekend which is the like low upper bracket whatever, and then the next weekend be the 12 game thing. And you get more people on LAN, you get more people, like you'll get the best of the best. So if one region's dog shit, we don't have to see them in the main stage, and then. Yeah, you just get to see the best of the best and best competition, which I think we all want. But the problem with that is, obviously, you have to then hire our venue for a longer period of time. You have to fly more people out. You have to do all these type of things, which is a lot harder for Epic. But I think this is definitely something which would be exciting to see for sure.
I think we need to do it just purely so we can do what I said last week and call it the FNtasia Championship and just have all the worst regions in it. That's it.
I think, yeah.
FNtasia Championship. Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, I think I like the idea of it. I think there's ways to do it. I'd love to see them explore it, but like the sort of like last message he said is like, I know this is expensive, and at the end of the day, a lot of this just comes down to cost. You know, I think if we had an unlimited budget, then I'm sure they would cook up some crazier stuff. But yeah, money. Thank you though, Avius Sussex, as always. Appreciate you, my friend. On to the next. The one who is P. I don't know why I just bugged out there and completely forgot to speak English.
Who won?
The who won, the one who. He said, yo, I was on YouTube today and my YouTube recap told me I was in the top 0.1% of FNtasia fans. I watched 58 times more than the average viewer. It's probably because I sleep to it. Also, I want your opinions on Bullet Drop in Chapter 6. As a top 400 zero build player, rip him.
Sorry, bro. Sorry, man.
Rip you, brother. Last season, I think they should keep Bullet Drop and Weapon mods in Chapter 6 because I feel it's better for competitive. And since we already have Reload and the new OG mode coming out, they will both have hit scan for the casual players. So I think Chapter 6, which is what tournaments would run on, should have Bullet Drop. What do you guys think?
Yes. PUBG's available. If you want another battle royale, with no building, PUBG is available. But when it comes to Bullet Drop and hit scan, I mean, I don't know your guys' opinion, but like watching this season, hit scan has got to go. Like it does. Watching people get beamed constantly, and I mean constantly, it doesn't feel like, well, because how good people's aim has gotten, the skill level for, well, the skill ceiling you need to have for aiming in Fortnite, it feels like everyone just gets beamed permanently. And it doesn't feel like it's fun and interactive to play to constantly just get beamed. And I feel like Hitscan has an element of skill, which is good, which I think has like some sort of like skill curve you have to learn to it. And I think it's good to have in competitive for sure.
I'll let Levin go first because we both were too enthusiastic, so we both had to cut him off. I saw he went with a finger up. He had multiple points. He had so many. He started with a 1 with his finger. We were just fucking, we're gone.
I actually think you should. I was going to address the first part of the comment, not the second part. So if you have something to say about the second part, then
okay, I'll respond to the second part. Yeah, Bloom is RNG, and beaming someone with Bloom doesn't feel good. You go, oh well, I got good luck. If you beam someone, get like a massive beam of bullet drop. There's skill to it. You're controlling recoil, you're controlling the bullet drop. I hate getting beamed by hit scan weapons. Give me some bullet drop all day.
Sorry for interrupting you, Mr. Levin.
It's fine. I'm used to it now on this podcast. All right.
Yeah, so the next donation.
Next donation.
I agree with both of you though. I'm gonna retweet what you guys said. I agree with both of you. On the first part of what you said, a bunch of people are sending me those. YouTube, I guess, is like sending out the recaps right now. And a bunch of people were like sending me them like being top listeners of the show. If you are one of those people, screenshot it and at the FNtasia podcast Twitter account, and let us know. We appreciate all of you guys who've been listening, the super listeners, 58 times more than the average viewer. That is insane.
It's mad.
Yeah,
a lot more.
Appreciate you, man.
I got a lot of those tags obviously for my YouTube channel as well, and I got a few that were both 0.1% listeners or watching my channel and of the FNtasia channel. I was like, these guys are competitive goats.
Yeah, they know everything there is to know.
They know everything
about competitive. All right, on to number 7. Poke FV. Boys, we've officially made it. $100 cash cup and finally got a girlfriend in the same week. I'm really him. Also, do you think it is worth it to buy Fighting Masterclass? And lastly, thanks for the long episodes, mates.
Wow. I think, firstly, congratulations on the $100 earned. Much more difficult than getting a girlfriend.
Way more difficult.
Statistically, how many people out there, what percentage of people have a girlfriend? Probably, quite high. I don't know the stats on my dome. But it's definitely higher than the amount of people who've earned $100 from the cash cup. So statistically, it's harder to win this little cash cup game. And yeah, it's worth it to buy Fighting Masterclass. It's awesome. Use code resub for 20% off in the store. There you go. Hashtag. On a serious note, it is actually genuinely worth it.
Can I get the Fighting Masterclass and like improve my skills? You think
we can
do like a segment where we track my progress weekly?
Well, you actually got to try though. If I just give you it, and then you don't, and then you don't improve,
then I'm like, for the content, I'll do it. Yeah, for the content.
Getting Levin to play the game. It's a good day to be his trio. It's a good day to be his trio.
I have been noticing. I've been looking at the leaderboards, and there's just no Levin 2K on it, and I was like, the other day I was like, I needed one, so I was like, I'll just message Minnie and Harry because I know they're not playing. So and they weren't, but they also weren't available.
Yeah, I mean,
I've not been on the grind, but I've been waiting for chapter 6. Remix just weren't for me, guys. It just weren't for me. Like I'm waiting.
Yeah,
chapter 6.
The level 40 does say that, but anyway.
Okay, we don't have to expose me. All right, thank you very much, Poke. Shout out to you, and say hi to your girlfriend. Hope she watches the show as well. Benny Cool. Shout out to Benny Cool coming back again. Oh, like look at the emojis there on this one. Yo, I was low-key tweaking over the super delayed podcast. Love you though. Also, Resub, I found another major bug about your practice map.
Oh my god.
If you mantle on the 1v1 box, you teleport out of the map. But this bug is low-key fun. Love you, Resub.
Mantle on the 1v1 box. Honestly. Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, there's so many bugs.
What is the 1v1 box? Which section is that?
You don't even know you're a map.
It's a 1v1 map. I know what's one. I'll have to figure out which section that is. Thank you,
Benny, for letting us know.
We have some more emojis next time. There's too many words without emojis.
Yeah. You know, it's rare to see emojis and punctuation in the same comment.
It does feel weird.
Yeah, I know. Usually they use them as punctuation.
Right. Yeah. Shout out. On to the top 5. Fresh Boy Swag Almighty says, glad to see you guys back. Which Bristol team does Harry support? Harry, what Bristol team do you support?
Bristol City, of course.
Shout out to Bristol City. And stats will return. Should the Guess Who game contribute to top 5 scores? No. Separate. Yeah. When we see Coach Harry Osborne streams back, or when will we see Coach Harry Osborne streams back?
Chapter 6. I'll be back.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Chapter 6.
There you go.
And there will be a counter for how many cringe jokes Brute forces.
I don't know if you can count that high.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fucking counters, bro. You're going to be counting for days on that one. All right, shout out to Fresh for Sagomai. We're going to get some more FNtasia stats coming in soon from the boy. On to number 4, Lil Fampa says, can't wait to buy the new FNTS Blade. That shit will... that shit will never go near my account. It's just a straight switch up. My 46 PR self could never. I'll get it when I win FNTS. I got a higher place in the Zero Ball Trio Cashy with 2 points than I did in the actual Cash Cup. Well, unlucky to you too, mate. Yeah. You're out of here. Why all our listeners Zero Ball players?
Because people enjoy Zero Ball. This is it. Like, it's actually like a decent portion.
All your Freddos are on me this week, mate. After this week, we're going to be able to get a lot more than Freddos.
Multi-packing Freddos, at least.
Yeah, we could, maybe like 4.
In this economy, of course. Don't get ahead of yourself.
I need to tell you something after the pod, man. That's awesome. Shit that was killing me, bro. All right, let's take a look at number 3. Agent Gabe once again. Shout out to Gabe. Gabe says, in this meta, if Muzzclicks and IGL Canada played, how do you think they will compare to Canada's current team of him, Acorn, and Ages? Love the show. Would especially like Boop's opinion because he's the only one I didn't know before watching the podcast. And he's become a fan of Boop.
There you go.
Well, this is what Boop thinks about fans. He just doesn't turn up for them.
He saw this comment specifically and said, sorry guys, I'm not turning up today. I'm just, you guys handle this one.
That is unlucky to Boop, I guess, because he's not here to answer. I'll answer on behalf of Boop. On behalf of Boop, Canada's current trio would be better, I reckon. Yeah. I think Acorn is just a much better IGL than Canada. And so Acorn taking up that responsibility and allowing Canada to be Max Nada instead of IGL Canada, I think works out better. Yeah. And, shout out to Muzz and Clicks. But I think Acorn, Canada, Ages is a better trio.
I agree.
Agreed.
I've been watching all of Canada's tournament videos. I don't usually watch tournament videos for the most part, but they're just so entertaining. I have to every time. There's very few players I actually just watch any tournaments from, and as soon as I see one pop up on my feed, I'm like, I'm getting on that and watching 30 minutes of him just shouting Max after he hits a 40 or something. But I agree. I gotta agree. Acorn, Agers, and Canada much better than Muzzclicks, even though we love those boys.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I just agree with everything. I think Canada's a perfect support player in trios. I think in trios it's nice to have like a really hard set IGL. Like obviously for Muzz and Clicks it's Rise, and for Acorn, well, for Acorn Aegis and Kanada, Acorn being the set IG, I think it's much better than having someone like Kanada, who I think is just the perfect support player, can take over when needs to be, can frag when he needs to be. It's just, why would you waste that and just force him into one sort of role?
Sorry, I just wanted to message. Yes.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I would, yeah. Stun locked you.
Yeah, thank you, Gabe, though. Appreciate that. Yeah. I think Gabe's always locking in with the NA related questions, so we got to keep our NA knowledge up, especially for Gabe.
I apologize, Gabe.
Yeah, after the top 5 game today.
Yeah.
Rough
one.
All right. Rough one.
In number 2, this one wasn't, before we switched to it, we switched to it. This is the longest super thank message we have ever received. So much so, I actually had to read this beforehand so that I was ready to read it on the actual pod. Essentially, for the people listening and watching who are wondering, Daniel FL here, lovely Daniel. Daniel's actually super thanked before. He asked us a question a while ago. I believe it was to do with exploits and if there were any missing exploits that people hadn't, figured out yet. Essentially, Daniel gives us a whole backstory on his thoughts on cheating and the cheating evolution here. Feel free to read it in the comment section below of the last podcast if you're interested. And he had some questions off the back of that, which is funny because obviously they then addressed cheating in the blog post this week, which is it's like somebody saw Daniel's message and they're like, hey, well, what the hell is going on in this esport? It was the first question he had. And, we've spoken about the cheating situation a bunch on the show, to the point where in recent times, we just try not to speak about it as much because it's like, it's getting tiring saying the same things over and over and over again. I think the main things here is obviously we address at the start of the show with the blog post. They are trying to address cheaters and there's things that they can definitely do a lot better, but there's things that there's things you have to concede on the fact that like, as much as it feels hard for us as a community at times, like the grass isn't always greener.
No.
And I know that's like a shit thing to hear. It's like going to someone who like lives in like the slums of like Sweden or like a really developed Scandinavian country and then being like, yeah, man, your slum's not that bad, mate. Like, look at this. It's not like the slums in, the streets of Chicago and Chirac or some shit. And they're like, if you go to that person and tell them that, they're going to be like, what the fuck you on about me? I live in a slum. What do you mean that slums? Like, you can't see it. You don't have that perspective, right? But like, in a lot of other games, cheating situations are worse. And a lot of those games are nowhere near the scale of Operation Fortnite is. And in a lot of the studies I think we've seen recently around cheating widespread across different games, like you'd be surprised how highly Fortnite ranks compared to other games when it comes to how cheaters are dealt with. Which I know feels weird. Yeah, like it feels weird to say that. The only other game that deals with cheaters better, like competitive game, is Valorant. And Valorant has like a bunch of like mad intrusive shit that I think probably would go against like a lot of the epic, philosophy around, Tim Sweeney, how he is and all that shit. So there's a lot of shit that like just would never happen for Fortnite, which for them to still be as highly ranked as they are, I think says a lot. And that's not like me trying to just excuse it per se, but it's like, it's just the reality of the situation we're in. On the next question, what do you say? Will the new FNCS system help a lot against cheaters and improve the integrity? I mean, we sort of talked about that at the start.
We talked about it at the start. And I wanted to quickly say about the first point is like, you have to understand that Fortnite is one of the only open games where you can actually compete for money. When you look at how many cheaters are in other esports, and then you're like, well, obviously, like if you're someone who's going to cheat, you're going to cheat in Fortnite because you can actually make money. So it's not surprising. And I feel like Epic are doing a lot of, as much as they get a bunch of shit, they're doing a lot better to help the cheater situation. So to answer that question, the FNCS system will help.
Try not to get into like a philosophical rant about the nature of humanity, but ultimately if there's money in it and there's fame in it, there's success in it, people will cheat. This isn't video games related, this is anything in life. Literally, it is human nature. So the fact that it's reasonably under control in Fortnite outside of top level tournaments is an extremely good start. And again, that's why it's so highly ranked in terms of all games. Just, there's obviously some things that need to be worked out.
For sure. Will the big crackdown on cheaters, which Epic is currently planning, be enough? It remains to be seen. In what is enough? I think we also talked about at the start, right? Where it's like, I think people's expectations are either too far on one end or the other. It's probably somewhere in the middle. Like, it'll probably help. Are cheaters going to just be gone now? No, impossible. Then he had a bonus question for me. He said, while on official live stream, is the Epic broadcaster forbidden from ever mentioning anything related to a player cheating, having cheated in the past, even if it's said in context of a joke? I mean, yes, like when, you know, for them, they would rather not us address cheaters, but that's just standard practice in any game. Like, no game wants you to highlight the fact that people are cheating in their game. You know, it's like, not even games. Like, no, it's like if you were doing like a show for Nike and like somebody was like, hey, like, do these Nike trainers like split when you fucking, like, do they rip when you use them a certain way? Like, they don't want you to highlight anything negative towards the brand. But with that being said, me being the troublemaker I am, and there's actually one other person who does this as well, and he might even do it more than me recently. Monster D-Face and I, in the past, have been pretty cheeky with like making jokes to round cheaters. Like, I remember in the past, like, commentating people who have like been like accused of cheating, or who like it felt like they were very obvious cheaters, and like implying, like, you know, I've made jokes. I'm like, this guy can't miss today, man. He's just completely on it, you know. And I know MDF, like, when all the Peterbot cheating stuff was happening that season, I swear you go back and watch, and like there was so many MDF moments where he's like clearly making jokes, trying to like poke fun at like, this guy is just like the best online player in the world, man. Like, fuck. So like, we're not supposed to. But like, when you're good at your job, you can make jokes at it, you know, and people won't really notice. But if they do notice, you know, you probably still won't get in trouble for it. Don't tell anyone Epic that though. Yeah, you will.
I mean, what you guys don't see, you know, you don't see the Castro cams, but there's actually a gun being held to Levin's head at all times by an Epic employee. He actually sits behind him in his house.
Yeah.
If you swear, if you say kill, if you say dead, it's you. You get what you say, mate.
You're dead.
See, this is why Reese isn't on the podcast. You're the one holding the gun. They're not the broadcast anymore. I mean, like, you're the one holding the gun.
I couldn't take the pressure. I couldn't handle the heat. You know, it was getting too much for me. So,
yeah, no. Sometimes, I mean, if nobody listens to the casters, though, that's the problem. Like, if you really listen to the casters, you'd hear a lot of shit where you're like, huh? What did he just say? Did he really just say it? At least maybe when I'm casting. I haven't casted in a while though. Maybe that's why I don't cast anymore, because somebody was hearing the shit I was saying. They were like, hold on a minute. He shouldn't be saying that. But yeah, thank you guys for addressing the serious threat to the longevity of competitive community. Have a nice day. Appreciate you, Daniel. Yeah, look, cheating something that needs to be solved, but I think Epic are taking the right steps, and hopefully, you know, the more sort of awareness towards it, the more they will do to improve the situation. Is my hope, at least. And we did just have a technical difficulty, but that's perfectly fine, because we're going to get to number one now. This week's victory royale goes to the one and only. Boom. JKC Gaming. Shout out to JKC, as always. I think the number one all-time leading super fanker, if I was to guess off the top of my head. Always here. Well, not always, because he missed a couple of weeks, but usually here.
Yeah.
Shout out to JKC. And he said, I'm glad we have Coach No Streams on the team, Harry. You knew that.
Yep.
Who can spend his time not streaming, thinking up new games to play on the podcast.
Next week we'll bring it back.
I mean, it's good that you've not been streaming, because clearly that creative energy has just gone into cooking up these banger ideas for FNtasia. A lot of people really enjoyed it. Like, a lot of people, like, half the comments on last episode, like, the game was really fun, by the way. That was cool.
Were people trying it with us?
Yeah,
or were they just? Do you think it was cool because we were just rubbish at it?
Yeah.
I thought we were great. Well, me and you were great, Broop.
Sorry. I just assumed that was when I was good. I just assumed I was shit.
No, you was one you were really good at.
I was good. Yeah, okay. Well, they must have loved it then. No wonder.
No, but I feel like that was a good one for people to play along with. So yeah. The game was acceptable. That's JKC's way of saying he loved it. Yeah. And instead of buying a drop map for the solo cash cup, I've chosen to carry on thriving as the top funder of FNtasia. Reese looking spiffy, my guy.
Thank you.
Your setup's looking clean this week. I like the lighting.
So I'm going to tell you a quick story about it. Thank you, JK. Let's see, just before we move on. Thank you for the top dono.
Oh wow.
So I moved rooms, right? Like I was in the small room. We have 2 bedrooms in this flat,
Yeah.
and Bella came through. We used to sleep in this room, and then I had my office in the other room. Bella was like, it just doesn't really make much sense that you're home all the time, and there's not really much room. In that previous room I was in before, there was a bed right behind my chair. Like I couldn't even move, and even though I had a room to myself, it was great. And as she was telling me this, I was dragging my desk out. Because I was like, before she changes her mind, I'm moving this up. I was like halfway out the door by the time she was like, oh, yeah, I think it's a good idea. So I've now essentially switched around all the rooms. Now I've been able to actually like set up everything, and I can...
Wow.
Space.
I can
move all the
upgrades.
activities.
Congratulations.
I know. Thank you very much. So I'm a happy man, basically. So
Do you still have a green screen? Or
no, I broke it. But I might get one because I remember... ages ago, I did a video where I green screened myself into Fortnite and did some like stupid edits.
Yeah,
and so many people asked for me to do it again. I never had like the space to put a green screen up behind me, and I accidentally bought a couple lights that do not fit on my desk whatsoever. But it'd be perfect for green screen lighting behind me.
Yeah.
So I need to buy another green screen and do some dumb shit like that again because that video was actually so fun to do. So I shall be. You shall see me green screened at some point. Yeah.
That's what I was saying when you got the space. I was like, this is perfect green screen space.
Yeah.
Well, it's also good because I can just like pull the mic out, put the green screen on, and it's fine. So I have a good shot. So chilling.
That's good.
Yeah, look out for some more green screen content from Risa, man.
I can't wait.
All right, what happened this week? Levin, tell us about DreamHack. I was at DreamHack last weekend.
I was so knowledgeable about DreamHack.
Wasn't everyone?
So I was writing, what we're going to talk about, this week on the pod. And I was like, oh yeah, Levin's away. And he was, oh yeah, is it DreamHack? And then I realized I'd been on Twitter and I'd seen like one tweet about it and I forgot it happened. I didn't know it was on. So what actually was happening? What was the event? Was there anything going on, to be honest, or was it just nothing?
Reese Hub, my good friend, I was at DreamHack, and I couldn't tell you a single thing that happened. I don't know who won. I don't know who played.
What were you casting?
Other than Mr. Savage and Queasy being there, I don't know anything that happened at that DreamHack, to be completely honest with you. And I was there.
Why?
Oh,
how do you not know if you were there?
Because I was in the Kidia gaming booth where they dropped like a map. They dropped like a Tilted Towers red versus blue type map, and they were promoting the map. And so they had Ozzy streaming in the booth a bunch, and Mr. Savage and Ozzy had this whole like engagement thing that they were doing where they were like having teams going back and forth. And so I was just hosting a booth at DreamHack. So I wasn't actually there for like the Fortnite tournament. I was just there. Yeah, I was just there for like a separate activation that is Fortnite related, but not competitive in any way.
Right.
So yeah, I have no clue what happened at DreamHack.
So you met Tyler.
Yeah, you met Tyler.
Yeah. So like it was weird because they had.
I saw more about that than I saw about Fortnite. Like,
bro, it was so weird because they have this booth and like I think they had Ozzy do a meet and greet in there a couple times. Like he did like a meet and greet like every day there. And obviously this whole thing is like an activation to do with like the map they're promoting in Fortnite. But then they had like two like League of Legends guys come through. Tyler One being one of them. Another one called The Bouse, who's like some EU. Yeah, I met him. Super nice guy. But Tyler One, I met Tyler One, which was like sick. He was so cool. And we did like
what was the chat like
with Tyler One?
Yeah, like so in these situations I always imagine like I've just seen clips of Tyler One. I've not met many of these big creators. So I always imagine like what's the initial interaction like when you walk up to him and be like, hey, you're funny when you're mad. Or you're
like 2 foot taller than him as well.
Yeah, what's your intro?
Yeah. So like,
what's your hook?
So like you know me, Reese, in terms of like when it comes to like speaking to like people I don't know.
Shit to anyone.
Yeah, like I can talk to anyone.
Yeah.
And I feel comfortable talking to strangers. And I think he's very much the same because like I think if you had seen our interaction, you would have thought we knew each other already and I met before. Because he just sort of came and we just sort of like we fist bumped and we just started chatting like, oh yeah, how you doing, mate? You know, he did highlight our height difference.
Yeah.
He didn't know me. Yeah, he didn't know me. And so when in our conversation, when he mentions our height difference, I was like, well, you're not going to like this. I'm actually going to have to interview you when you're done with this meet and greet. So you're going to be seeing this height difference on camera. And he was like,
get your box ready.
Yeah, he did ask for a box. Yeah, so no, he was a super nice guy. We just talked a bunch about just, general, like, I think he had a kid recently. It was weird. I don't know much about him because I don't follow Tyler One, but like, he started talking about being a dad now and stuff and, dream hack and whatnot. So yeah, super nice guy. Honestly, I was like, I would now watch Tyler One because I'm like, he seems super cool. And he had so many fans there for him. Oh my goodness, he's
massive. Tyler One's huge. I mean, it's quite funny the way that Tyler One came about as a streamer. He just came about, started off as one of the most toxic players in League of Legends. He just was. That was his whole thing. He was like completely like throwing games, saying like horrible things about people, and he turned into just this massive streamer somehow out of nothing. It is like, yeah, but you see from everything you see, it just seems like a really chill guy, which doesn't seem like from obviously any of the viewers who watched League of Legends back then, it's like he was a completely different guy back then. You wouldn't even be able to notice him, but that's pretty cool. You got to see him and got to see like some other people as well, but you don't know anything about the actual like Fortnite tournament. I can help out.
I know Anne Fishy was there because I hung out with Anne Fishy.
She made finals.
She made finals. She didn't do too good in finals though, I think.
The winner.
Let me try to remember.
Yeah, try and remember the winner. I know the winner. I can say that.
No, I know the winner because there was a video of them like crying. What's his name? What's his name?
Go on.
Wait, don't tell me. He's the guy that Hutty.
Yeah, that's so bad.
Oh no!
I just remember.
And who'd he play with? Come on, that's 50% of it.
It was Hutty and.
He's the guy that. Do you want me to tell you their nationality?
What was the nationality?
Polish.
Polish. Mixon.
There we go.
Mixon. Yeah. There you go. So I didn't see them the whole weekend. But,
from watching the games, so I watched all the games. Actually, the games were stacked. Like every game was Surge, every game was stacked, and it was fun. The only problem was because obviously there's not a high prize pool. There was barely anyone competing to qualify. So I'm pretty sure what happened. Now, don't take this as gospel, but I'm pretty sure this happened. It was meant to be 4 heats. It was meant to be 4 heats, right? And there's meant to be 2 heats on Saturday, 2 heats on Sunday. And 2 heats Friday, 2 heats Saturday, right? And then final Sunday. I'm pretty sure on the Saturday they only did 1 heat. And just
I think they did 4 because Anne told me she qualified in heat 4.
Maybe they did because I was just remember looking at the leaderboard. Oh no, they did end up doing 4, yeah. But I mean, there was 37. There wasn't even a full lobby for the 4th session.
That makes sense as to why she called in.
Yeah. She came 13th out of 37, which is still impressive.
They went crazy. I think she said they pulled every zone, which helped.
Yeah. But no, like it looked like the games looked stacked. It was fun to watch, as any finals lobby is, no matter if it's good players or shit players, because obviously, like, even though yes, the best players were still landing at the best spots, there was enough good teams that a team couldn't just run through everyone and get all the god loot, because of the season we're in. You had Malibuca at the shot, you had Pixie at agency, you had, I think it was like contested by 2 like YZY, the controller player, and Robam were contesting each other at Grotto. So there was like enough good teams.
Wait, was Malibuca there?
Yeah, Malibuca.
Yeah.
Malibuca and Synapse.
I didn't see him.
Yeah, Malibuca and
Synapse. I didn't see them.
But apart from the, like, also in Heat 1, some people had some problems actually playing games. Like, I'm pretty sure Malibuca only got to play like 2. Yeah, he only got to play 2 games. But in general, from watching it, it was just like watching a Cash Cup finals. Like, I know that's not what a LAN should feel like, but it was still good games. It didn't feel like completely scuffed and horrible to play. It looked pretty good. It was actually hosted in tournament setting this time, because I think last DreamHack, if I remember, was in pubs. The one in last
settings. It's the one in Savage and Pink one, right?
Yeah, Savage and Pink one, yeah. But no, it was really close going into the final game. I think 6 teams could have won going to last, as, for example, Mixon and Hutty won last game to win it. So they had their winning moment, which is a very rare thing we actually get in Fortnite.
I swear we get that. It's weird, because I swear we don't get that much in Fortnite, but it happens on LAN a fair amount.
Didn't Seti get that when Seti won solos, or he had like a good last game?
Seti did win it. Yeah, Seti won it. It happened to Mr. Savage when he won Anaheim.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he won the last game.
No, he just like it was neck and neck.
Or it was like he was like, well, maybe he was like
second that game.
Yeah, he might have like, but he got to end game. But yeah, he didn't have the winning moment.
Well, yeah,
I just feel like it's happened a decent amount in Fortnite. But yeah,
but in lands. But yeah, like so, just to put in perspective, because I just remember looking at the leaderboard for last game. Prism and Kasparinovic were in first going into last game, and to say how close it was, they end up finishing 7th.
Oh wow!
So that's kind of the difference. So it was a really close tournament. It had a lot of like good moments. So I think in general, like I just want more prize pools, so more people go, because we love lands. It's fun to watch. It's fun to see people's reactions and everything. But obviously, I know that's not even like that. I don't think that's much of a possibility, but it would be fun to see.
I was tempted to go with Deej, just to just to make a video, just to be like how I made finals, kind of video. It would be really funny. And then I didn't plan anything and didn't want to do it. And DJ, I like jokingly suggested the idea after I'd already decided I didn't want to do it. And he literally just said, fuck that. So yeah, we didn't end up doing that. But I thought it would be funny to go.
I'm pretty sure if you should have like gone, like I'm sure if you would have hit someone at DreamHack, they would have like sorted you out as well.
I think so. We could have probably done something good, but I never ended up doing it. Maybe there's another one. I might message someone from DreamHack and be like, hey, could you hook us up with a PC? And we'll fly over and whatnot, or it depends. If it was a solo event, I definitely would go, because that would be funny as hell. I think that would be really fun.
Easier to qualify because it was top 12, top 12, top 12, top 14. So
it would be easier if DJ was carrying me. Trust me.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But no, it was like I think the games were fun, and I know some people. I think there's someone I know who's Danish. Called Maldus, who I help, and he literally like the 2 days before just said I'm going, and just like got a bus, came top 10, and it was like for the people who are around there, it's so much easier. But I just want to see more. I want more people there. I want more tournaments. We need more lands. We just need more lands.
DreamHack was good. This was the first one in Stockholm, and it was really good. And a lot of people enjoyed the event. As much as I didn't actually watch much of the Fortnite tournament that happened, I did go to the Fortnite area at one point, and compared to the ones in Yongshiping, so much better. There was so much more space, so much more breathing room. Like, when I went into the LAN area, it wasn't like humid and stinky like it used to be. Like it was just like normal. It was just like good,
That doesn't sound like a real LAN to me.
Honestly, you'd be surprised. You would be very surprised. But no, it was a genuine, overall, it was a really cool event. I enjoyed myself. So I wish I could have watched more of what was happening with the Fortnite tournament though. But I was on the job working. Busy.
Too busy glazing Aussie and Mr. Savage.
Yeah.
Well, Aussie's chat was getting angry at me because they said I was glazing Mr. Savage too much, but like they didn't have the context because they all just sat there watching Aussie stream. They can't see the hundreds of little Swedish kids all there like staring at Mr. Savage in awe. And like,
how weird was it to see that? Like, just so many people around. I guess it's like the meet and greet at
Globals. Man. No, man, he is like Mr. Savage. It's like different level, bro. Like the guy is a superstar. They adore him. It was like being a host. You always want to get like the cheap, shouts, and like the cheapest shout and the easiest one for me was "Make some noise for Mr. Savage," and they just all go crazy. Like I can say anything, and it just Mr. Savage make some noise, and they just all go ballistic. So
was there like a "Make some noise for Aussie," and it wasn't as big as the "Make some noise for Mr. Savage"?
Unfortunately, there was quite a few.
Did it not hit the same as the "Make some noise for Savage"?
Who else did you try that
sadly.
for?
Make some noise for 11-2K, and then
I never bothered doing that for me. Never.
They know you as Mr. Aura. You'd have to say that. That's you on TikTok.
I was surprised. There was a bunch of people that came up to me like, "Oh, yeah, I loved your speech, man." I was like, "Oh, shit, thanks." I'm now just a speech guy to a lot of people, but that's cool. I'll take that.
You're the moments guy.
Basically, Martin Luther King at this point, yeah.
A kid did come up to me and say, "I love these moments," and I'm like, "All right, buddy, thanks for that."
He's got it memorized. He was about to just read it all out to you.
No, literally. But no, it was a good event. I enjoyed it. Give us more lands, please. I'm begging.
Yeah, please.
Reese, you want us to talk about Remix?
I want to talk about Remix. Okay,
it's ending now. It's coming to an end this week.
Yep.
Every tournament for Remix has finished. I think should be done. We've had 4 weeks, a month, whatever it's been long. So I want to play a game. Okay. I want to see what we all think. What is the FNtasia ranking of this out of 10. It's not really ranking. Rating out of 10 is probably the better way to word it. So I have 4 different categories. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say the category, and then you two need to DM me your number. So you don't, you don't need to say it outside.
We won't say it.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
You won't see it. I'm going to put it into my spreadsheet, and then we're going to discuss each individual one. And it'll be what is that out of 10. And once we've done all 4, we're going to get an overall ranking out of 10. Okay. I'm also going to do it at the same time, so we'll have mine. But I want to tell you the straight number first. So
is it going to be our rating altogether,
yes.
or just me and Harry's?
Us 3, and it'll be averaged.
Nice,
so it would have been 4 if Boot was here, but he's slacking, of course. Yeah. So
of course.
Open your DMs to me on Discord, so I can copy and paste them in. First thing you need to talk about. First thing you need to rank is how good was the Fortnite remix ranked?
Oh.
Okay. Now it's hard because. So I'm going to ask a question before. Just, are you comparing it to other ranks or just as an overall experience in rank?
Out of 10. Just say out of 10 as an experience for a season. What do you think it was?
It's hard when I barely played.
Yeah, I was going to say this guy didn't play.
Does that say enough?
Yeah, that says a lot, really. So okay, this is any of the ranks, right? Because there was obviously reload ranked, and there was
So you caught on to my trick here. Yeah. Yes, ranked of all ranked playlists.
Yeah.
Am I allowed decimal points or no decimal points?
No decimal points. Just give me
points, man. Come on.
I tell you what, you can do what decimal points because it averages out. It's going to be a decimal point.
Yeah, it'll be a decimal point
because it'll average us 3. Right. So you made decimal. Okay. That is way higher than I thought it would be from Harry coming in.
Oh wow. All right.
I know.
I don't know.
Surprising.
Overall, I think it was I enjoyed Reload Ranked. I thought Reload Ranked was cool, but I don't know how much I enjoyed Reload Ranked because it was ranked or just because Reload this season was cool. Like the solo Reload was cool. As a whole, Ranked just sort of felt like regular old ranks that we always have, And if anything, agreed. Battle Royale Ranked will probably weighs it down because Battle Royale Ranked was just some ass.
So I went with a 5. Levin also went with a 5, and Harry went with a 7.5, which I will ask you in a second. I'll ask you what you went with that for. I'm going to explain myself. I would have rated this season a 2 or a 3 out of 5 had Ranked Reload not been here. Yeah. Ranked Reload carried hard because if you played at the start of the season regular Ranked, helicopters, cars, the non-competitive loot pool, no siphon, no heals. Genuinely, I don't think I've ever enjoyed, outside of the Wrecked season from last chapter, I've not enjoyed playing Ranked less than that. So I probably would have given it a 2 out of 10. I would have honestly just given it a 1 out of 10 had I realistically just not been nice and put it as a 2. So
yeah.
Right.
Levin.
So
actually, no, sorry, not Levin. Harry, explain yourself with a 7.5 out of 10.
Why I said 7.5 is, yes, the first week was pretty shit. I can't lie. It was and it felt like every week it was just a new item was just because obviously the change build would be a new item, you get loads. For the first week, it was grey rarity spats. You just got it every floor spawn ever. No heals, no nothing, but cardboard boxes galore. But as the week went on, the past couple of weeks of playing Ranked has been a lot of fun to play. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's a lot of fun to play. I think the guns are fun to use. I think in general, yes, obviously there's cars and whatnot, but with the grappler as well, you get to fights pretty quickly. You're not running around, not able to find anyone, especially with the rifts as well. I think in general, just playing it's a lot of fun. Do I play it loads? No, but I've played it enough. I think I'm champion or elite or something like that. So I've played it a decent amount.
Okay, but valid.
Yeah, and I Ranked Reload, all I'll say is maybe it's because every time I play fucking Reload, I'm stuck in bronze and I have to work my way up and it's too much of a slog. But it just feels like I'm in gold at the moment, so I haven't played too much of it in comparison to the other Ranked. But it just doesn't feel as enjoyable as playing normal Ranked. Normal Ranked is fun. I have a landing spot I enjoy landing at in the map. I have fights I like to get into. It's just fun. I just think the guns are fun to use. The gameplay's fun, but I understand your first week. I forgot about the first week. Maybe I'd move it down to a 7 because the first week was so bad. But these past couple of weeks have been so enjoyable. And the past couple of weeks is half. It's two-thirds. It's half the season. So
true.
Yeah, no.
True.
I think it's been pretty fun.
Interesting. So overall, 5.8 out of 10 is what the FNtasia is ranking Ranked mode. for Fortnite Remix. That's not bad. That's not bad. Let's be really carried by Reload. Next point up we're going to go through is how good was Fortnite Remix tournament meta? The tournament metas. Now, this is a little bit of an interesting question because obviously it changed as the weeks went on. It didn't change drastically. It kind of did change drastically for the most part.
I mean, for the POIs and stuff, the
POIs did, yeah. Ooh. Harry's coming with a spicy one to start with.
It's an interesting one because I felt like this season was like similar in many ways to like a lot of the stuff we've seen this year in terms of just like how overall balanced the metas were. But I actually felt like the meta was, unless I'm missing something, outside of like the minigun being a pain, I felt like the meta was quite balanced for the most part. So I actually really enjoyed this season's meta.
Yeah, so I've gone with a 7, Levin's gone with an 8, and Harry has gone with a 3. So again, making sure he's changing things up a lot.
Mr. Different. Mr. Different.
No, this is my
Harry,
go on.
Explain yourself.
Wait, you already made the point. Fuck the minigun. Fuck the minigun. It's just so... Every endgame is boring. If a team has minigun on height, you just can't actually play. Like, it's pointless to play. And we do have a lot of metas with that. That doesn't mean those metas are also good. Those metas are also dog shit. Secondly, we're in a meta where we're reliant on mobility. If you're carrying, yes, you can obviously, you can get launch pads and whatever, but in a meta where there's hit scan, you can't really use the launch pads that well. So you are reliant on getting grapples, either in solos, getting grapples, which throughout the weeks changed how often you can get them. They were either very common in chests, you could get them in henchman chests, or remove them entirely. So now you have no grapples at all. So now the meta's changing from, okay, everyone's got grapples and it's fair, to only certain landing spots are getting grapples, and now they have a huge advantage, and it just felt the mobility meta wasn't that enjoyable to play. Also included, gotta add snipers into the mix. Snipers, not fun at all. I don't think snipers are fun to have in competitive. As much as I do think most of the people who died snipers, it's their fault, I don't think it's fun to have snipers in competitive also on top of that. And then on top of that, there was cars in the meta for a period of time, which obviously wasn't enjoyable to have. Obviously, helicopters, there was a lot of taunts with helicopters in the meta, also not enjoyable at all. And yeah, that in my opinion, that's smart. And also the zones, you gotta remember, I know this isn't meta, but it's to do with tournaments. The zones were bugged for the first week of tournaments, which also made some games go to 30 minutes. But yeah, that's my opinion. And also slurp juices this week as well, which is also bullshit as well.
So I'll rebuttal you a bit in the sense of I feel like my rating's really high. A lot of the problems you highlighted, I just personally didn't ever really interact with a lot of those problems, or as well as much. Like we obviously played together, so I know we have this joke about I had grapplers all the time, mate.
No, I'm gonna stop you right here. This guy, he's got some epic given account or something, because every normal chest he opens on the 5% grapple, he just gets guaranteed every time. And then last season when it was the chainsaws we went throughout, he gets it out of every chest. I'm sat here looting the entire yacht, the entire fucking steamy houses, going to the radio tower to find one grapple, and he's landing on 3 chests and finding one.
I always had grapples. I don't know about you guys. I just always had them.
I'm fighting for my life on a 50-50 rotate.
Another thing, I think I can count how many times I got sniped this season. I think I got sniped twice in tournaments this whole season. I never got sniped. So even some the snipers, I forgot about that because I just never get sniped. The only memory I have of snipers is Miniminer hitting every fucking snipe.
He's talking about cheaters, man. He's talking about
dirty little Miniminer, the cheater. So yeah, I get that. Cars and stuff, when cars win the game, I never felt like they were that big of a problem. There were a couple games I remember playing where it was annoying when people are rotating with cars, and it's just a bit you're trying to get some surge, and it's just AIDS, just everyone's spraying in the cover. I don't know. I didn't feel like it was bad. I thought the meta was pretty balanced for the most part, but I hear what you're saying.
I hear all of Harry's points, and my only rebuttal is: have you heard of the spaz?
Yeah, but he's fun doesn't mean good meta.
Have you heard of hitting a fucking bang?
Oh, I knew my low if I forgot about the spaz. That gun, never in the game again. I hate that gun with a passion. So we have 2 shotguns, right? We have the spaz where I can get hit from 16 boxes away in the body for 130 damage because...
Bad peak.
It doesn't matter about bad peak. You can see 1 pixel of me hit me for 100 plus. That gun is stupid. And then you've got the tac, which I've never seen structured damage like a gun in my life. You don't need a switch weapon. You just spam the tac at someone.
I didn't have a problem with the tac. So
I didn't have a problem with it.
Because no one carried it because the pump was so...
purple tac hater, Like, I am religiously against the purple and gold tack structure damage, and I've mentioned it in many videos. There's been one time I think I fought someone against it, because obviously the pump is good and it's worth taking, right?
OP. It's too
OP. It is OP. So here's the thing, right? It's OP, and you get chunked for 100 every time. But then you hit the bang, mate. Once you hit that bang, who cares what you're taking back in return? Doesn't matter. It's fun. Yeah. I know it's not the most balanced shotgun, but at this point, after playing with it for a season, I don't care, mate. Just give me that spaz every game. I just want to hit an absolute max bang with it. It feels great. And I think like this shotgun meta, even though it's more like the pump's way more overpowered than like the hammer pump from the previous chapter, I'll take this shotgun meta over the gatekeeper meta any day. Any day, give me this. Give me this.
It's just which is the nicer shit between the two shotgun metas. They're both just a bit shit. It's fun. Don't get me wrong. It's fun, and I think the main thing with the season, it was fun. But I'm talking from like a competitive standpoint.
Hold on, you might be getting ahead of yourself here. All right. Yeah. So we're gonna give the tournament meta a 6 overall for Fortnite Remix, which is not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
The next question: how good was Fortnite Remix for fun in tournaments? So you did entirely jump the gun. So how much fun did you have playing tournaments? Doesn't matter if the meta was good, didn't matter what it was. Did you have fun playing the tournaments?
I'm gonna send you my rating. I had fun, but I was also playing with friends, so maybe that helps. You know,
that's fine.
That's what I'm saying. It's like my experience was generally fun because of who I played with. And there was some funny moments in the game as a result of the meta. There were things like the spies. Like, I do remember having moments where, like, we finish an end game with the minigun and I'm like, I don't want to play this anymore. If this is what I have to play with every time. But generally, I had a good time. Like, I generally had a good time.
So I put in a 7, Levin put a 7, and Harry put an 8. So we're actually regularly in agreement for once. Yeah. I was going to say there was when I think that the tournaments were really fun, but there was like a few tournaments where I felt like I was so bad that I wanted to quit playing altogether, but had nothing to do with the thingy. That was just me, you know.
That
was nothing to do with the meta or anything. No, which one was the one Levin was on about?
I had one tournament where genuinely I was like, oh wow, yeah, this is my last Fortnite event I play. Like, this is it for me. Like, I'm never coming back.
No, like for me, it's just split up into two things. Trios, very fun. Enjoyed it. Obviously, want to do better. Also, enjoyed the landing spot we were landing at. Fun. It was a fun experience, right? We were landing the yacht. Good landing spot. Fun. Solos, miserable. Hated solos. Never hated solos more in any game mode. With the spazzes, the lack of heals, having to get a grappler. It was so frustrating to play solos. So, in general, yeah, like trios was fun. Solos not fun. I gave it an 8 because trios, bit of bias towards trios.
I didn't play.
I think this is one of my favorite solo metas. I'm not gonna lie. I think this is really good because the thing is, with this season, if you didn't have a meta, you can just play Storm really easy with campfires and boats and get a grappler. Like, that's what I did. If I didn't have a grappler, because I'm landing Stevie, I just go to the vault and there's someone's going to leave one behind in yacht. So I like that. I thought it was good.
There was one thing I missed about the season: the Mythic AK. Oh, that gun is so fun, and that is the most fun I had in solos. It's just grappling ahead of someone, seeing some little kid just walk along with no grapple and Storm on a 50-50 rotate. Can't peek, has to build the entire way. That was fun. Bring back the AK. That gun is, it's a bit OP, but it's fun. It's fun to use.
Do you know what the best part about the AK is, though? Is that if you miss every bullet, you go, oh my god, the bloom on this gun is so bad.
It's an easy cop-out.
So it's a win-win. You can shred someone, or if you miss, you can just blame the gun. So overall, we're going to give the tournament fun. Well, how fun was Fortnite? Well, I can't even say that. Overall, how fun was tournaments in Fortnite Remix? 7.3. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Especially for a season with no FNCS. We've got to remember that too. Just cash cups in there. The final one we're going to go for here is, how good were the competitive storylines in Fortnite Remix? And viewership, and watching it, that whole kind of, as a viewer.
Oh, I might have some recency bias here. Okay, I'm gonna.
Oh my days! What a response from Coach Harry.
Actually, I'm gonna quickly actually keep. I'll block it. Fuck it. I'll lock it.
No, you can change it. I'll allow a change.
I just want to do that. There you go.
Okay.
I'm split in two minds here. I'm split in two minds, and I'm on two ends of the spectrum, and so now I think I'm gonna come in the middle and do this. I'm gonna do this. Maybe I go. Nah. I'll just keep it up. I'll keep it up.
Okay, so I put a 6. Levin also put a 6, and Harry put a 9. A 9 for a non-FNCS season. Explain yourself, young man.
I don't care about any other player, any other trio. I have never had more fun than watching Canada this season.
That's why I wanted to do a high rating.
He is the sole reason. Like, I've ruined my sleep schedule just watching Canada stream because it's so fun. Every game, there's so many moments I can think of. There was the Canada 1v3 trio and Peterbot going, "You're crazy," and Canada go, "No, you're crazy. You're crazy." Like, and those are like, there's so many. Just obviously they're split now, so obviously you could say like towards the end of the season, but. That experience, Max Nada, like I was never a Canada fan. I was a fan of like watching him having the scuff games and then always getting like somehow top 3s. But watching him play like was some of the most fun Fortnite I've ever watched. And like watching good teams just key the lobby was fun. Like in general and storylines between, especially NA storylines, awesome. EU, we've had some tournaments. You know what's happening in them.
Tournaments happened in the EU.
Yeah, they did happen.
Who did good? I don't know. Refsguard won a cash cup, so we're like, we're fucking Mickey Mouse now at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I also agree with that. I have become a Canada fan over the course of this season because he's just entertaining. Outside of that, obviously, there's the Peterbot moving around stories, which has been interesting. It's not like FNCS, and it's so. It's more of just funny to see how like people are reacting and responding to that rather than thinking about the actual competitive connotations and like where that's going to go. EU, I don't know what the hell has been going. Honestly, we've just been doing nothing. This has been the most boring EU season of all time. So that's why I'm like locking in a 6. NA carried this season. I can't believe I'm going to say that.
NA carried a lot of 2024, sadly. I was like Harry at first, which is why I was like, I've got a bit of recency bias here because of all the Canada stuff. But then I remembered every single episode of the podcast this season, me constantly being like, I don't give a fuck about what's going on this season. And I was like,
yeah, but that's you. I think you haven't given a fuck about any of the taunts unless it's FNCS.
No, but like this, there's not been anything to give a fuck about this season in comp outside of Peterbot and the Canada shit. Like what?
Yeah, but that's enough. That's enough.
But that's not enough though.
No.
But let's be serious. That's not enough. If we're being real, it's actually not enough. If you're gonna compare it to like the shit we've seen throughout the year, like there's been so many better seasons where there's been shit on both regions that's like actually interesting. Like this season, like the Canada and Peterbot shit has been great, and so I that's why I understand your rating. I think your rating's valid from that perspective. Yeah. But like generally, no FNCS, so, which is always gonna hurt the storylines. And EU was just so sleeper. Like even the things that you would have thought would be interesting and like not sleeper, just kind of didn't really like Queasy and Thomas just split after like an amazing performance. We got Queasy and Veno and people trying to find their trios, and then Malibuka got snaked by a mustache, and then this and then that. There's so much like things that you would have thought were cool, but like it just kind of felt like lackluster in here. Like it just kind of felt like we've had.
There's also like a bit of lack of competitive on EU because just Vino, Vico, and Lixie just won 3 of the cash
everything.
It was.
And Mustache, Vanya, and Swizzy only making 1 finals. So the two teams you think about, and the finals they made, they came 15th. So it's like,
So, what are we gonna add?
I was gonna quickly say, like, I get your point, and my first answer was 9.5 left, so I moved down to 9. I moved down, but it was because I don't know. I just think from like a watching standpoint, like I do obviously watch taunts and everything like that, but I just don't think I've had as much fun in a long time watching a trio play or watching a team play as Canada did. And to me, that's just when it comes from storylines. We don't have any storylines because they don't fucking matter. And we have no FNCS, doesn't matter. I'm just thinking from pure enjoyment of watching a tournament. It reminds me of the old days of watching, like, I know, like you can say Mongrel still playing, but the old Mongrel playing tournaments and all the way back then. It reminded me of those sort of times. So. Yeah, that's the only reason I gave it a 9. Maybe you could say it's a bit high, but just from an enjoyment perspective of watching tournaments, like I haven't had as much fun as that in a long time.
Valid. So, how good was the Fortnite remix storylines for competitive? A 7 out of 10, not bad. So that means our overall rating, how good was Fortnite remix competitively, is a 6.54 out of 10 if we average all 4 of those together. Does that feel right?
Yeah. It was a season, and it happened.
It was a season.
And it wasn't bad. So it's a 6.5 out of 10.
For no FNCS season 2, which from, as competitive connoisseurs, I feel like that's a pretty good rating. Even though a lot of it, I complained a lot, but there was still enough to keep things interesting,
No, I agree.
That might be too high.
You think it's too high? How much?
It might be too high. Like slightly too high.
I mean, 6 is probably where if I had to rate the whole season, I would put it as a 6. So it's not that much higher than what I would.
So, I mean, I can give our individual ratings because averaging out across all of them to see who is bumping it up and pulling it down.
Okay.
I had an average of 6.25. Levin had an average of 6.5 on the dot, and Harry had a 6.88. So we were all relatively even without the same.
There you go. Yeah,
in the same ballpark.
Yeah,
I feel like a 5 point something feels more right than a 6 point something. But it's fine.
I'd say, I think we're in the right ballpark.
Yeah, we're somewhere there. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. There you go. There is the FNtasia Fortnite remix rating.
So let's say next November they're planning to do this again. What would you want them to change?
Don't do it again.
Just
don't do it again. Just don't do it.
But like they are going to do it again. Like
do Fortnite Remax, and every pump hits 200. That's it.
Yo, Fortnite Remax. Okay.
That would be Fortnite Remax after their champion shit is what we need.
Epic Games, get in contact if you need some marketing. Come on,
But like, they're guaranteed going to do it. You have to change something for competitive.
We already talked about it last ep, It's like,
and Levin was very not interested in that conversation back then.
I was. Some of you guys cooked up some like cool stuff, like with like the
mashup,
change,
Levin just doesn't care about Fortnite, guys. He's moving over. He's moving over to.
He's a storyline guy now.
Yeah, I'm moving to COD, guys. Yeah, I'm a COD commentator now. It's happening. Yeah, I've been playing Black Ops 6, so.
And he hasn't invited me to play, so it's fine.
I've not been playing Black Ops 6, so. I would invite you if I was playing. If you want to play. You want to play Black Ops 6?
No, we got some Fortnite to play.
All right. Yeah. There you go.
I'm a grinder.
Thank you all for listening to the podcast this week. We appreciate you all as always. And we'll see you next week with the new chapter. Chapter 6 should be out by the time we film this next week. So it should be fun. Should be a lot of updates, a lot of cool stuff. And peace out.
Bye.